This episode of Calling Out with Susan Pinsky is sponsored by Holistic Goddess, for the goddess in all of us. I am here today with some special ladies. It's Girls Night at Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, and I'm very excited to have Colby Rebel as my psychic medium. She's one of my closest trusted friends, and she is going to be reading our guest today, who is a secret celebrity. So she knows nothing about this person, who it is, or what's going on in her world, so that she can read her and go right into the spirit of her life. Colby has written books, Leap of Faith, Psychic Senses, and Coffee with Colby. You can buy on Amazon, and you can find her at colbyrebel.com. She also teaches beginning to advanced classes on developing psychic senses and intuition, as well as managing her psychic business. She's just amazing. So welcome, Colby.
Hi there, Susan.
So she's here via VMix. She's in beautiful downtown Big Bear. I wish you were here in studio with me, though, because I like it when you're here.
I wish I was too.
We're gonna center your face here first. Get it all set up. So you can say that you have not read anything about this special guest. She's a little skeptical, from what I've heard. She's never had a psychic reading. She doesn't know, what's coming. I will give you a hint. She's a friend of ours, and she knows Drew, she knows me, and she's a lovely person. And so I'm just going to let you get started. And if you recognize her, great. I don't know if you will, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, great. So, hi there. How are you?
I can tell you her name. Her name is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm great. Nice to meet you, Colby.
Nice to meet you as well. Excited to have a chance to read for you. So a couple things as I go along, I'll ask you if it makes sense or you can relate. So just give me strong yeses, strong no's, okay? And
sure.
Just enjoy the experience as much as you can, really, right?
Okay.
So a couple little notes that I wrote down was, to be honest, the first thing I wrote down is crazy relationships. So I feel like, there's been crazy relationships in the past, especially maybe like romantic ones, just because I feel like it has just been a whirlwind in that department a bit. Would you understand that for you?
I do understand that, yes.
Okay. So I just feel like there's that, like a big thing. And a lot of what's interesting, and don't take this the wrong way, but I feel like there's a lot of controversy. So I don't know if there's just been a lot of controversy around you, or you get wrapped up in controversy, or you talk about controversial issues. But I feel like controversy is like a big platform for you. And I feel like kind of addressing it. And I feel like you are kind of feisty and really like headstrong about it. Like, I think when there's something you really believe in, you can be pretty headstrong about the right and wrong way to kind of go about it. Do you understand that?
I do, yes.
Okay. And I also feel like you are, it's interesting because I think there's a part of you that's just very independent. So I think it's hard to be with a partner who lets you be kind of the powerhouse that you're meant to be, But I do feel like I see you with a partner. So I do feel like there is someone, and I do feel like it will be someone very strong, but I feel like they need to be very, very secure in who they are in order to be with you, right? I also, it's interesting. I feel like there's a little bit of darkness. And I mean darkness as in maybe some trauma in the past, some heavy stuff that I feel like you've been through. And I feel like you tend to use like humor as a way to just kind of relate to it or kind of get it out, right? I don't think you hide from it. It just feels like sometimes you'll just kind of use a witty sense of humor just to kind of get yourself out of it a little bit. Does that resonate for you?
To offset it, sure.
Yeah. Okay. And I just know, like, what's interesting is I feel a show around you. So I feel like there's going to be, if not already, something in front of a camera, a TV show, talk show, something along those lines, because I keep feeling a sense where it's just interesting. I think there is a fan base for you that enjoys your authenticity. Like, you're going to give it to them straight up, right? There's no BS in what you're saying. And I feel like there's just this group of people that go, yes, like, yes, she gets it. She gets me. And I feel like just through that, there's going to be a TV show or a connection to TV with it. Do you do TV already or nothing like that yet?
I host a podcast, a video podcast. So I would say there's a little bit of that on TV, but not in the sense that you're speaking about. I do have some potential opportunities coming up soon.
Okay, so I'm definitely moving. Oh, I got chills. I'm definitely moving a little bit forward in the future where this is going to be TV. Like, this is a TV show. This is you, the center of the TV show. But it is interesting because there is going to be some kind of controversy. You know, you're not going to kind of shy away from the controversy of it, you know? And it is, I'll tell you, I think what's also difficult is, you know, even going back to the crazy relationships and romantic, I just even feel like friendships have just been there's just some friends that have not been kind to you. Like, I feel like there's been some friendships that have been very, very backstabbing, or, you know, we lost that friendship. I just feel like there's some pain in that area as well. Does that relate? Do you understand that?
I can relate to that. Yes.
Okay. Just because I feel like, I don't know. It hurts my heart to kind of go, you had trust and faith in someone you were leaning into, and then it's like this betrayal or something. So I'm sorry that happened to you. But it is like, there's two things I heard. Karma's a bitch and you're going to get the last laugh. So,
oh, good.
So I don't know what that's about, but hopefully that will make sense to you.
It does make sense to me. Yes.
Okay. And I just feel like you, like I said, you know what? You are going to, I know you must already be successful with this podcast, but you are going to elevate to such new heights. Like, you are going to leave all the ick behind you, and you are really literally going to build so much financial freedom for yourself and really enjoy your life. And then, like I said, I do strongly see another partner for you, romantic partner, where it feels loyal, it feels strong, it feels very, very connected. I think you must love, I'll tell you what I saw. I don't know if it's the tropics or in the middle of the water, but I totally just saw you on a huge boat in a beautiful swimsuit, just enjoying life. So I feel like there is going to be some travel and just some enjoyment around this, right? Just this idea of you are literally about to live your best life after coming through such a dark time. And yeah, and it's just, you know, whatever it's almost like, I wonder if this was like, people know about it. I wonder if this is something, I don't want to say, I don't know, public, but just something like, you didn't even have a moment of privacy, I feel like. So, you know, like I said, you're going to enjoy the next steps. You're going to enjoy the next kind of years where it feels like you're going to literally have the last laugh, and it feels amazing. Whatever.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, then that would be great.
Well, I like to think I have a pretty close connection. So,
right.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. And then, you know, I want to say too, I think someone is going to approach you for a book or like a tell-all book. So I do feel like there's going to be an opportunity as well to tell your story. And so there is something about that coming in. Has that been proposed to you yet or not yet?
Yes, there have been a lot of people that have asked to be involved in that, talk about it. There's been a lot of conversation and a lot of things written for it, but I'm not at the stage yet where I feel comfortable
Got it.
doing that. I want to do it the right way when it's on my terms.
Yeah.
And when I have an ending, I'm looking for that happy ending that I can finish it.
I promise you, you're gonna get it. I promise you. Did you go through a divorce recently by chance, or a breakup by chance? Would this be more recent, or am I going too farther back?
I was divorced 10 years ago. And then, I've dated people since, but, no necessarily big breakups in the last couple of years.
Okay. Because I feel like,
there may have been breakups, but people that didn't affect me that much. You know what I mean?
Got it. Perfect. No worries. But I feel like, the new person coming in, they're not here yet. That I don't think you're in this relationship yet. I don't feel like it's here yet, but that's only because I feel like you're focused on you. You're focused on these things coming in. Once they're in alignment and you have a chance to go, okay, I've checked these off my list, then I feel like you're going to say, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready for this. It feels like I said, someone who it is definitely going to be someone who sweeps you off your feet, in a very good way. And it feels like they are very, very successful. They have a ton of energy, because you need someone with a ton of energy. And they just feel like, I don't know, you're going to just feel beautiful with them. You're just going to feel like they're going to really appreciate you next to them. And I think that's going to be fun for you. It's going to feel you're going to feel like the right fit. And I'm just going to, little TMI, it's going to be a little passionate, kind of a lot of passionate.
That's great.
So we want to make sure we get that out there. Any questions that you want to ask me right now?
About what you said?
Anything about what I said?
No, I think actually it's been all very interesting. Susan, you can tell me when you would like me to reveal some of these things that I can explain to her why. Can I do that now?
Yeah, why don't you
spirit a little bit also?
Okay, go into spirit first.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Is that okay? And
then I would love that. I didn't want to be pushy.
No, that's okay. Okay, so the first feeling I get is a male in spirit around you. And I feel like this male may not have been very old when they passed. And I feel like his passing might have felt a little bit more quick rather than a slow passing. Does that resonate at all, that you would understand a male on the other side for you, that you would have been very connected or close to, not as old when he passes?
Yes.
Okay. And he gives me the feeling of, I wonder, do you know, would you understand if this person would have experienced some struggles in their life, while they were in the living? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. I think everyone has struggles in their life. So
nothing more than anything. Nothing more than, because I don't.
No, nothing that I'm thinking this was challenging, but I think that the everyday struggle.
Okay. This person, I feel like he was very. I get the sense that he was very charismatic. I really get the sense that there was a magnetism to him. Would you understand that with him?
Yes.
And I feel like he's got a big energy. I feel like there's a big energy with him. And I feel like he was very close to you. So you understand that. I don't think this is an acquaintance. I feel like this is someone very bonded or close to you. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. Would this be a partner for you or a brother, can I ask?
My fiance.
Okay. Are you okay if I chat with him? Because he's the first one that just really wanted to come in. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
And he gives me the feeling of, like I said, almost a feeling of being bigger than life. He gives me the feeling of when we talk about someone who was happy to have you on their arm, this guy, he embodies, he feels confident to me. He feels like he could own the room, you know? And I feel like he was also a bit adventurous, maybe sometimes too much, because he makes me scared sometimes. Like he might have driven fast or something along these lines, or likes fast cars. So I get a little like, ooh. But I know like he shows me being so excited by you, so excited with you. And you two really like could really laugh. Like I think just you always were, I mean, I'm telling you, you would always make each other laugh. But boy, I don't know, you could also push each other's buttons. Like there was some button pushing when it came down to it. But I feel like he just was like, he loved that you stood up for yourself. He loved that you weren't going to let him get away with things, you know? And I feel like he was very, very excited about those next steps. He makes me feel like he was very excited about his future with you, you know? And I also know, like, I think what's, I honestly too, this is a little, I feel like he saw kids with you. And this is interesting because it may have been something like, well, we don't need them or we're going to be okay. But I feel like on the back of his mind, he's like, I'm going to approach it when the time is right. Like, and I feel like he saw that with you. And I feel like, yeah, he just gives me the feeling where the passing is quick. The passing's quick. Am I correct? I want to say, to me, I mean, again, I could just be picking up on the emotions, but it feels pretty traumatic to me. So would you understand that at all? I mean, obviously
I
it's your
do.
fiance, so I'm guessing it would be, but I just feel like it's so, we didn't have a chance or we didn't have time to say goodbye to each other. And, but boy, does he love you. He gives me the sense I mean, he would have died for you is what he really gives me. And so I know,
Oh,
I also know he loves music. There's something about music that he has a connection to. So he will send you music. I feel like he'll send you songs, send you music, and you know, like, oh, there he is. There, that's him. And I feel like he
Mm.
lets you know that that's his way of being with you and around you. And he was a very uh affectionate person, touchy feely. Like he loved to touch you. He loved, just his hands were always on you. And I feel like he just loved to kind of feel your curves. Not to get too weird, but that's what he gives me. And he yeah, he just definitely gives me the sense of how much he loves you. I'm just curious, in the living and spirit, do you know, is there a Michael in your life that's a connecting name by chance at all? M name or Michael by chance?
I don't recall. No.
No? Okay. He gives me the name Michael. So I feel like must be a Michael near you or a Michael that will be stepping in. So he gives me that name for you. So maybe just kind of tuck that away to see how that comes in. But I feel like this person is going to be coming in to help you. I feel like this person will be coming in to kind of be someone that you can trust and to know that you can trust them. Okay.
Okay.
So anyhow, I will just say to let you know,
okay.
he gives me, just the last thing I'll say around it is you definitely are the love of his life, and to know that you're the love of his life, and that I know he was a big personality, or a lot to kind of handle, but yet, I don't know, you did, and he loved that. He loved the accountability that you gave him, and he loved that. It's funny. I mean, you must have a lot of memories in a swimsuit with him. Just because I go back to, like, he shows me the swimsuit and just loving having you in his arms. And if he could rewind time, I think there's some choices he would make differently. And he would know to be a little bit more responsible, I feel like, so that he could have been with you. And so he just wants you to know that, and just to know you how much he loves you. Okay. So
Okay.
I'll leave that with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.
So, Susan, do you want me to sort of explain a lot of this stuff?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Colby, yeah. Well, I'll start with the last thing that we just spoke about, because it's clearly on my mind. When I was 23, I met a man, and when I was 26, I was engaged to him, and he was killed in the World Trade Center. So you're correct that it was traumatic and sudden. And
you know what's weird? I was, for some reason, I was feeling 9/11, but I wasn't clear on why I was feeling 9/11. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. So he was in the building that day, and it's funny when you say the bathing suit. We had just the day before gotten back from Greece and spent 2 weeks in Greece together, and we had. It was interesting. The morning of September 11th, I worked at Bloomberg News. I would go into work at 5 a.m. That was my shift. And we got up that morning at about 3:30. We were on Greece time. And he was watching the Weather Channel, because remember what a beautiful day that was? And he was watching it to see what the weather was. And I came out of the bathroom, and he said, "Oh, I want to bring the photographs of our trip to work today to show everybody." And that was when you had like instant photo, remember? And you can have all the negatives. So I had 6 packages of photos, and I handed them to him. And then as I turned to walk out the door, I said, "Oh, let me grab the negatives, because I know you're going to lose them." Thank God I did that, because he took the photos with him and I would have never had them.
Oh,
but the
thank
6
God.
packages
That's so awesome.
are photos of us in a bathing suit. And so I just sort of love that you said that, because that's
yeah.
See, she's good at what she does.
yeah.
So do you have any questions for
let
him?
us
Like,
go back
if
to
you
the
could,
other stuff.
if
What
you could
about your
talk to him,
crazy
I
relationship?
want to talk to him.
What do you do for
never mind.
work? I want to know about
I'll
the
finish.
the book.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see. Hold on. I made some notes here. Okay. So it was interesting that you said I have gone through some crazy relationships. For those of you who do not know me, I think I became somebody in the public eye because of September 11th. My face was on the cover of every newspaper then, searching for Andy, which is his name. But after that, 10 years later, I was involved in the Tiger Woods scandal. So there was some drama, obviously, surrounding that. Oops, hold on. My dogs are in here knocking over the lights. Sorry. Basically, obviously, that affected my relationships. I've somewhat become a recluse at this point, because there have been so many people that wanted to either be part of the story that they weren't. Many people have betrayed me, and in ways that I cannot even tell you or count on my fingers. And so it's been very difficult. And I choose my friends very wisely now. And I have a very small group of people that I trust and want around me, and for very good reason. And I've created, you talked about having this platform of controversy, I think was the word you used, but my platform, I have a podcast called Misunderstood, about people who have been reduced to a headline and they're on a mission to change their narrative, because what I went through was, it was very controversial. It was very public, but it wasn't what I was what I represented too, and so it was very, very difficult for me to get through that time. Even until now, it's been something that I almost wonder if there's like this revolving curse, you know. I mean, when I was 15, I lost my father in a very traumatic way. I lost my fiance when I was 26. And then when I was 36, I was involved in this, this international sex scandal, and it's all with men, right? So it's like this thing that keeps happening around men. But inside my head, I have a different vision of what I want and who I want to be and who I want to connect myself with. So it's never matched up, and it's been very difficult, you know? So let's see, what else did I think the karma's a bitch and I'm going to get the last laugh definitely is something that resonates with me, because I think so many people have used whatever it is that I trigger in them has created a lot of anger. So I create some sort of emotion. My name itself creates an emotion before I even walk in the room. And that's been really difficult for me. And people have blamed me for things that they don't like, right? And I just feel like it has been, a very long time, 15 years of feeling like I needed to tell my story because I needed to explain myself. But I had to get through a lot of work in knowing that I don't need to explain myself to anyone. But I think that now I can use my platform because it's a concept that people understand. Going through something that you're embarrassed of, you're ashamed of, some choices that you've made that are terrible, but then it follows you, and how you can overcome that and how you don't have to live in the what happened. So for me, that's been like a struggle for me. And I feel like I've just found a purpose, and I've just found that moment, like you were talking about, that I can't be in a relationship until I find my purpose, until I see a path to kind of get out of the muck and the stigma. Yeah. And I've found that in the last year. And so these opportunities have started to come to me. And, you never have an opportunity, as you guys know, until you're signed on the dotted line. So a lot of people make a lot of promises. But I think it's because they see the story. They see that there's something there to talk about. But I haven't found the right person yet that gets it, that I really want to partner with, that can tell the story the way I feel it's important, not only for me to get my story out there and to narrate it properly, but so that other people can understand and say, oh, I get her. I've been through that, and it helps them. So for me, that is when it's time. And I feel like that time is like right here, Yeah.
Yeah. No, that feels really good. And it feels too like in the past year, though, is really when you flip the switch, though, to say, I'm not letting this control me anymore. I know who I am. And I think that that's now what's going to change the momentum of what's happening and how quickly it happens for you.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for so long, there was a lot of shame involved. And I felt like I almost metaphorically and physically walked with my head down. I was embarrassed for what people thought, would say, what I had to do to get them to like me and to, understand who I was. And I've really come a long way in knowing that, wait a minute, I don't have to apologize anymore at all. And I only needed to apologize to one person back then. So it's like, this is, for me, I've had to do a lot of work. And for me, it's more now, everyone loves to talk about that part of my history. That's like the least exciting thing about me. There's so much more to it. But I love having this platform where I can talk to people who have been through maybe different circumstances, but the same feeling that they have been completely misunderstood. And they want to tell their story so that people understand the complexities of human nature and the power of second chances.
Yeah, no, it feels good. You're going to be very, this just feels like moving forward that you're going to have an opportunity to reclaim everything. And just not only that, but to kind of be a leader in what you're doing, which I think is going to be really exciting. People are going to kind of go, okay, well, wait a minute. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Right. And I think there's so many people that, it's their time to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, reconsidered, there are so many situations or stories that happened in our past. Like, for example, I interviewed for my show, Lorena Bobbitt. And decades ago, we all thought this woman was crazy and she cut off her husband's penis, if you guys remember the story. But it's interesting to go back to different conversation pieces that were in the news and talk to them about what happened that led them up to that moment, why they did it, who they were, then and who they are now, what it's made them become. And I find that fascinating. And I think that it is my time to be reconsidered. And just like I think there are plenty of people who, were the headlines, who made the cover of every newspaper, or, for me, I was on the cover of the New York Post more than some celebrities in my time. In between the 9/11.
Who is Lorena Bobbitt? Who is that woman?
She is
You
great.
don't know who she is? She's from New Jersey or New York, and her husband was having an affair. So
yeah, do you remember her, Susan? She was actually
cut off his penis and threw it out the window into a field.
Yes. So she lives in DC.
And American women cheered.
Yes. Well, it was very interesting because people at the time didn't know what marital rape was, and she had spent her whole life dedicating herself to domestic violence advocacy groups. And, people thought this was just a crazy, woman from Ecuador, El Salvador. I'm forgetting now where she was from. She didn't speak much English. And you hear her tell this story now of how he basically cheated on her, abused her, raped her. She was covered in bruises the day before this happened. And it was just one time too many. And she lost it. I mean, she literally lost it.
Did she go to jail for that? I can't remember.
That's a great question. She was on trial and she did not. She was acquitted for temporary insanity. Because of the marital rape thing. So it's a very interesting episode. People should download it and listen. Because again, I felt like it was something to reconsider. Was this woman crazy, or was there something that drove her to this? And it was just a natural
self-defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that guy, didn't something else happen to him later? Oh, by the way, Drew just popped in. He's here.
Yeah, I'm reading more about that guy, and he did go he just spun off. He was already a bad person.
He ended up getting arrested for some other stuff. He was not a great guy.
More than that, he became a porn star, and then what he did was he tried to have reconstructive surgery on
They found the penis and they put it back. They went out in the field and they found it.
Yes, but they tried to do this thing where they then enhanced it and made it longer, and it deformed him. So now he has a deformed penis. And now they had to cut off his toes more recently. Terrible. This guy's an idiot.
Oh man, the Wikipedia page on this story is just nuts. Go listen to that podcast. Guest. Listen to Rachel's podcast. I'm sure that's going to be very interesting.
I want to get Lorraine on this show.
Please do.
Anyways, Drew popped in. Speaking of working with crazy people.
I thought she was going to go to cutting off penises.
I was going to say, speaking of which, what are we talking about?
Speaking of a man with a penis. Okay, here we go.
Whose penis might get is endangered. Is that you trying to tell me something? Rachel, I don't see you yet. Am I shot up here?
Is camera working, Kaleb?
Wait, I'm getting it. 1 second. I'm getting him.
Okay. I heard you talking. I just am so excited for you and what you're doing. It's funny. Bob Forrest called me after you interviewed him. He's like, "Have you seen what Rachel's doing? It's just unreal." Where is this over here?
Yeah,
no, is this over here?
Yeah,
part of the shot.
We can. You got to recenter.
Yeah, Susan. Susan, which camera?
I'm going to move closer to Susan. So there we go.
Come over here, honey.
Oh, but I can.
Yeah, I had a phenomenal episode with him. It was so great to have him in the hot seat instead of me.
Yeah, he was so proud of you. He was so excited for you. You just called me right away. It's like, you got to see what she's doing. I said, I know. Not only do I know, I completely, I get it. Speaking of, I get it. It's so interesting that you said a couple of times, you need people to get it. You were very clear with me when you and I used to talk about Andy that he got it. He needed other people to get it, to be in on the joke. Do you remember all that? And so getting it has become a really interesting theme for you. And it's, the other thing for me is Colby a couple times nearly said my words. She came so close, both when I first jumped in on this and then just a few seconds ago, which is, Colby, you'll appreciate this. Rachel does not suffer fools gladly.
I know you were going to say that.
She does not. She does not. That's the title of the book. Right. Rachel doesn't suffer fools gladly. But the other thing, and this is what I wanted to tell Colby about. And by the way, Rachel, I've seen Colby do these extraordinary things a number of times. And whenever she starts looking up and to the left, I know something's coming. Colby, I don't know if Yeah. What's she going to get into? Something real. But Rachel and I had this crazy experience where we were doing television, and by the way, I don't think you need television. I think the YouTube and Rumble and whatever else you get is going to be more than, because that's the future. Let's face it. But in any event, we went down to World Trade Center. And the first thing we did was ran into a guy who'd lost his life in the his wife rather, in the World Trade Center, which was, I thought, already extraordinary. And then we went and did some television, which was Rachel writes a letter and puts it in a bottle and throws it in the lake in Central Park, and it's TV. But as we walked away from the edge of the water, we took about 3 steps, and right in front of us was this plaque. I don't remember if we saw it going to the water or coming back.
Coming back.
For Andy.
Yeah.
For Andy. It was unbelievable. I get chills when I think about it. It was so wild.
And the one thing I want to say about that experience, because, I interview a lot of people about reality TV, and there's so much talk about, the reality reckoning and all that. That experience of me doing celebrity rehab was so real for me, because I was listen, I'm not a drug addict. I was there for love addiction, but I was getting through the aftermath of what it's like to be in a scandal, and everyone knows your name, and everyone has an opinion about you. But I was still so messed up from the loss of my father and the loss of Andy, and that's all we dealt with. And I was so immersed in that program, or whatever you want to call it, that it was not like filming a show. I mean, I tell people this all the time.
And if you remember, you took advantage of working afterwards too, and you did some really good work there as well, if you remember. And what happened with your grandmother and all that? Is she with us any longer? Or?
No, she died. But she lived a nice life, and her husband, who lived till he was 104. So I don't have any grandparents anymore. Yeah.
And your mom?
My mother is still around. I have taken your advice, and I have taken her out of my life. It's only been a couple months, but I always remember in my head you saying, when you're getting healthier, when you're getting better, sometimes there are people that do not want you to get healthy, and it makes them so angry with you. And those are the people you need to cut out. And she has been, I have her in my life because of my daughter, of course. And I think that's a relationship that I'm okay with them having. But for me, I'm feeling the healthiest I've ever been, finding my purpose, because I think for a long time without it.
It's loud and clear. And Colby is just going to keep going, which is wonderful.
I felt like I needed...
Sorry, Rachel.
No, I was just going to say, I felt like I needed to fall back on that. And at this point, I've been strong enough to say, I have to choose myself and my mental health, and I cannot have you in my life. You can be in my daughter's, but I'm going to take a step back. And I've lived up to that, and it's felt a lot better, because a lot of times I'll just go and forgive and hope that it's going to change. And, we did our show, 15 years ago, and it hasn't changed a moment since that show. So this is the first time I put my foot in the ground, drawn the line, and stuck with it,
But do you mind if I say something? So Rachel, I feel like your relationship with your dad had been very strong prior to him passing. Would that be correct?
Yeah. I mean, I was in a boarding school, so I wasn't able to see him because it wasn't a school where I was allowed to leave. But we were closer, and I spoke to, I spoke to him right before he died. Yeah.
Because it feels like with your mom, like when you mentioned your mom, I felt like there was this jealousy and resentment that she has towards you. Like, I feel like, a lot of her, I'm not diagnosing, we can let Drew do that, but I think some narcissistic behavior that feels like very toxic. I feel like that comes from there's just some resentment that she had.
To be fair, let's be careful talking about somebody who's not here to defend themselves. You know what I mean? But their relationship, whoever's at fault, has been rocky, rocky. And Colby, if you wouldn't mind, focus in on the dad a little bit, because there's a lot.
Yeah. So it felt like to me, just that, to me with the dad, it just feels like with him, it's interesting just because I feel like he's worked from the other side to make amends as well. So I feel like from the other side, he's tried to kind of say, was I working too hard, or what could I have done to kind of been more of a parent in some ways, and more supportive and more nurturing, I feel like, to you, right? And being able to support you in the way that you needed. And so I do feel like there's a little bit of that. So, it's just hard because I think in some ways you were struck kind of needing to be so independent, even from a young age. So even if you had your parents, there was a strong sense of you needing to kind of take care of you. No one was going to take care of you. You needed to do it. And so I feel like your dad just feels like he wishes, I think, that he would have done things a little differently and stepped in a little bit more for you and giving you that love, that nurturing that I feel like you so needed in those earlier years.
Yeah. And just to clarify that, I was 15 when he died. He died of a cocaine overdose, and he did not spend, enough time with me at all because he was deep in that addiction. And I was sent to boarding school when I was 12 and couldn't see anyone.
But what was interesting is when I was bringing in Andy, I could see, if you remember back, I said, was there something with substances or something, so I think your dad was trying to peek in then, sometimes they blend in, but Andy was like, no, this is my time to talk to her.
Right.
Don't be stepping on my toes, Dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I
and I guess that kind of
everything.
upbringing also is what causes love addiction. So it was the basis of your addiction.
What is that Mother Hunger book? Is it called Mother Hunger?
Yeah, Mother Hunger.
You might take advantage of that. It's an interesting book called Mother Hunger.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's been very interesting and something you taught me, Drew, that like so many of my big relationships on my timeline have been things that ended in such tragedy or something huge, cocaine overdose.
Crazy how the repetition.
9/11,
the repetition was wild.
Yeah, and then an international sex scandal. So it's like I'm used to this chaotic, leaving in such a way that's so devastating. And I've kind of learned to, I don't get fazed by terrible things. I mean, I almost feel like somebody could get shot in front of me and I'd be like, okay, this is my jam. I'm like a great eyewitness, because those things don't raise my heart rate at all, because I've been through total crisis that a lot of people really can't understand what that's like. So it's been difficult to find also, like you were saying, a relationship where I feel like I have to be independent because I have been for so long, but someone who's strong enough that doesn't overshadow that allows that, but at the same time is very powerful. Because if I don't respect them, if I don't think they could be my catcher, not that I need one, but I like to know that I have one, then it's never going to work. And so it's been hard to find. So I've done the wrong thing. I've looked for people that have powerful jobs, that are powerful people, because I assume that makes them powerful as a man or powerful as a partner. And that's just, they don't really go like that. It's a different kind of chemistry you have to find.
But I feel like the man who it's interesting, because the man that I feel like is literally going to be your partner, it's the man who shows you he's not abandoning you. Like, I am here. You're not going to have abandonment because I'm in your life. Yeah. And that kind of, even if you're used to that trauma, I feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You've kind of gotten used to, well, I better not be too happy because that darn shoe's going to drop right there. Whereas I feel like he is going to be so steady for you. And I am going to say, look, I could be wrong, right? But
you're looking at a bathing suit.
You're going to test him. You're going to,
apparently you're going on a boat.
You're going to test him a bit. And try to push him away a bit.
For sure. That's what I was going to say.
Of course I'm going to test him. Don't be ridiculous.
So I feel like you're going to test him and try to push him away, but he's just going to get back up. He's going to stay in it. He's going to stay in it until like.
The other thing, Colby, I don't know if you get. I don't know if Rachel knows this, but she needs somebody very smart. And that's. I don't know if you know, if you're looking for that, but you need somebody super smart.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. I am attracted to someone's mind for sure. I know Drew's taken. Yeah. We got to find another one. Drew, do you have a brother?
No.
Well, Colby, just to reiterate what you said, I just started dating someone who has a boat, and I just was delivered all like 5 bathing suits today because we're going on a trip on Monday. So, how do you think that was funny?
You go, girl.
I love it.
Good. What's your favorite bathing suit company? What is it?
I'm going to bail out and let you guys have your...
Wait, who are they?
Well,
I'm a big fan of the bathing suit.
Calistogia, I think it's called Caledonia. I'll send you the link when we get off this. Yeah, amazing bathing suit. Yeah, amazing bathing suit. They're super sexy and look good on your butt.
Yeah, that's
She's like getting embarrassed.
Yeah, it's getting me uncomfortable.
He's all red.
Sorry,
Look at his
bathing suit talk. It's all right. Enjoy. It's great to see you. It is great to see you. It's great to see you thriving.
Sorry, the cameras are all screwed up.
I knew that the pod would do great. The name is I told you, it was just exactly right. People misunderstood. And it's who knew though that this time of cancellation and turning people into cartoon characters by the media there'd be a flip side to that. People are ready for reality, I think. And I think that your pod's bringing that. So
thank you so much, Drew. I've always appreciated your place in my life. So thank you.
You betcha.
That's so cute. I want to tell you guys something. On Rumble, all the guys over there are just, kind of chatting. They still haven't got over the Lorena Bobbitt story yet.
Oh, God. We're still talking about that?
They're all freaked out. I'm sorry, you guys. They're like, but...
You never heard that?
I don't know.
They must be young. They must be young guys.
Look it up on Wikipedia.
Some of the ones they've heard the story and they're not really pleased to see people laughing about it. But I'm like, look deeper at the story.
They're not laughing.
Bit. Like, the guys on there aren't laughing, which I get it. But guys, go look deeper at the story. Like, there's a bit more.
We've been talking about it for 10 minutes. No, you guys really affected him with that. But you know what? It did happen. It's not great. It only happened once. It didn't happen again, right? We didn't hear about that ever happening again.
There were a lot of copycats. There were a lot of copycats that happened after. There were like a lot of. It was a whole phrase. Yeah, what was it? Being bobbited or something? I forgot what it was. But they had it was like a whole. It was like meme before a meme, and there were copycat incidents and stuff, and. I don't want to laugh about cruel and unusual punishment, but sometimes, like he was a pretty horrible person. Look at this stuff. Look it up. He was pretty horrible.
Listen to the podcast, guys. It's on Misunderstood on Apple and Spotify. I think it'll change your mind.
Yeah, go listen. It's an interview directly with her.
It's on Spotify. Yeah. Aren't you on YouTube as well?
I am. Yeah, I have.
You do a video show.
Of her and I sitting together is on there. So if you want to watch it, you can watch her.
Yeah, she's Instagram Misunderstood with Rachel, and then YouTube is Misunderstood Podcast.
And the people that are complaining in the comments actually have other problems with women, obviously, because they've kind of spiraled into other things about how all women are wrong and all that. I'm like, okay, well, you're not someone we're going to listen to anyway. Sure, you had one good point. The other 99 were not good points. So
right. Well, men do get fired up about that topic. I do know that.
I'm not laughing at the fact that she did it. I'm just saying it was such a crazy thing when it did happen that.
No, but that's the whole point. When you hear the whole story, it's incredibly upsetting.
And it's think about
again, to Rachel's point too. Like, what's interesting is Kaleb said there's nothing funny about cruel and unusual punishment, but didn't she endure that? Isn't she the one who endured cruel and unusual punishment 100%. For years?
Right. And think about, there was the recent story of there was a girl who had been sex trafficked when she was a teenager who killed her pimp. And a lot of people were like, well, you shouldn't have murdered someone. But talking to this guy that's in the comments that's trying to say, oh, this was cruel and awful and all that, I'm like, yes, but do you ever think about the treatment of the person that's in that situation?
Right. So that's a guy who probably thinks it's okay to beat his wife, for whatever reason, and he shouldn't have a consequence. Like those people, I don't
that seems to be the direction of that. And he's saying like, well, she could have left, but like, you don't understand the psychological, like when people get psychologically trapped, there's a lot of other details, dude, that you're not seeing. And you should go listen to the podcast. Go hear it straight from the mouth. Like go listen to don't look at old news articles. They would portray these stories in different ways.
She explains her reasoning behind it in a way that you haven't heard her tell. So I think you'll appreciate the story.
She had a moment of insanity because she had enough.
Yes.
And I had totally forgotten about that, but what a great guest. Maybe we'll get her on this show. So did you have any more questions for Colby? I mean, she was spot on with everything. So I just wondered if you have
I'm kind of curious, Rachel, did you, what about maybe if you have an opportunity to interview the Menendez brothers, right? That might be something interesting, right? And
so that whole genre of people, I've had Mark Garagos on who's talked about the Menendez brothers, but 100%, anyone like that, I've had so many of those people. I've also had like Greg Louganis, remember the Olympic diver who was hiding that he was gay and had AIDS or was HIV positive and hit his head on the board, and it changed his life because he had to come out and reveal these things. So people, Cato Kalin I've had on the show who, has lived with a stigma his whole life because he was in the guest house during the O.J. Simpson murder. So like people like that, even to as more recent as Kathy Griffin, who remember was canceled for holding up the head just as a joke of Donald Trump and was then put on the no-fly list and the terrorist list and was completely...
I'll tell you, I wish you would have had an opportunity to interview Sinead O'Connor. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, 100%. Right? Yeah, a woman really struggling. Yeah.
But you're doing I think, what's wonderful about what you're doing, and unfortunately, you had to experience trauma in order to kind of come to this place in your life, but you are really changing the perspective and giving those who didn't have a voice. And I think that's something that, to just be so proud of, that you are making that difference.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I also think it's really important that if somebody thinks they don't like someone and they've only read articles about them, I don't think that's fair. I think once you've heard them tell their story or seen it through the eyes of the person that you're hearing it from, if you don't like them after they've explained it, no problem. That is totally fair. But I think at least give them a chance to explain why they did it. That's what I said before, the complexities of the human spirit, the human nature, and give them a second chance. And if you don't want to after you've heard it, no, that is completely understandable. But I don't think it's fair just to listen to what people have written about the situation who've probably never met the two people they're talking about, So that's why I love my platform, and I feel like it's such a purpose for me because I do love to share.
What did you get Drew to come out about? I want to know what his deep secrets were. He was your first guest, remember?
Oh, you mean when he came on my show? I thought you meant spiritually. Yeah. No, we just talked about, he was my first guest. That's right. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I could trust him. Listen, I don't have very many men in my life, honestly. And Susan, I will definitely tell you, if I had to name, I can't even name enough men on my hand that I trust. Drew would be one of the names that come up instinctually, not just because we're having this conversation. The fact that he can get on air with us right now and talk about something that is going to make me cry, something that was so in the forefront of my mind and in my life about needing to feel like someone got the joke, needing to feel like somebody got me, and how hard it was to find someone. And we dealt a lot with that when I worked with him on Celebrity Rehab. And the fact that he remembers that 15 years later, the fact that he remembers this piece of advice he gave to me, Rachel, you're smarter than people give you credit for, and you do not suffer fools gladly. And he used to say that to me all the time. The fact that he remembers those things, it's like we were just on set a week ago. And I know,
it's crazy.
I love this about him, and anyone who knows Drew will say this, but I'm going to reiterate. When you speak to Drew, he he treats you like you're the only person in the room. He is very good at that. And that genuinely comes naturally to him. It's not an act. It's not because he's on television. He's a little bit of a codependent in a great way that he's
very much codependent
to do that and make those connections. And for me, as a person who has lost a lot of men in my life and has a difficult time trusting men, Drew has proved to me time and time again that he will always be here. I can leave, I can come back, I can make mistakes. He will always be there. And I don't want to cry. And I love him for that. Like he's a father, a brother. I always will. He is one of the small amount of men that I feel that connection with because he gets me. And that's so important, you know?
Thank you.
That's he's a great man.
Me.
Yeah.
He loves you too. He came on the show to say hi. He's like, you know, he doesn't miss a beat. So he's, great. I appreciate that. I think Colby knows that too. And, I'm very fortunate to have him in my life too. But the everything you're doing now is going to help a lot of other people, and it's already helped me. So, I appreciate your honesty, your openness, and your, just being vulnerable. I know it's weird, like coming on a show like this is, we were like, hey, talk to this psychic medium and let's see where it goes. It's like, thanks for taking the risk with me because I'm married to Drew, obviously, I'm lucky that way, but I hope it was a good experience for you. And, it
was a great experience. And I just want to say for people that are skeptical, I would say I'm somebody who's skeptical of things like this, but regardless of whether it's true, not true, all this stuff, what you're doing and having these conversations is opening my mind to accepting things, reminding myself of things. And I think that's really important. So for people that just don't want to believe it, if you could just open yourself up to like trusting the process, that it could at least bring you to a different, it can unlock things in you. I'm not going to verbalize this properly, but I feel a different sense of weight on me. And I think the hard part being human is that when somebody has died, you just feel like, well, I can never see them again because they're not tangibly in front of me. And so I always want to believe in signs. And, you were talking about music before. That really resonated with me because Andy was a big runner and he ran the marathon and he would run around Central Park. And after that morning, after September 11th, when he died, for some reason, I wanted to know what the last song he heard was. And I went to he had a Walkman at the time, or like a CD Walkman thing. And he had on repeat, he had hit the little button where you can see, and it was the song Beautiful Day by U2. And so I knew the last time he did his run, that's what he had it on repeat. So I used to listen to that song all the time. And then the other song, Drops of Jupiter, I would always hear, like at his funeral, I heard it later, like all these, every time I hear that song, I feel like, whether or not I want to believe in it or not, that it brings me, Andy's there, reminding me that he hasn't forgotten, that he's there, that I shouldn't let people forget about him. Whatever it is for me, it makes me feel close to him again. And, that loss has really, it's stuck in my bones, that tragedy, that loss, that sadness that I don't know that I'll ever be able to get out of my system. But when I hear nice things like this, he was a gregarious guy. Everyone wanted to know who he was. He was the biggest personality in the room. I felt lucky to have been loved by him. And I'm hoping that one day I can release that for myself if there's not some bigger spiritual power that he can release me from that. And I can find that with someone else, or someone will love me the way I deserve to be loved. Because I haven't really let that happen in all those years, in my whole life.
Yeah, he's definitely going to, I definitely feel like you are going to have that. But when you do hear those songs and when you do think of him, I feel like his biggest message is, as hard as it is to trust men in your life, to know that he is devoted to you. He will love you forever. And to know that love was real and is real. But yeah, I don't get the feeling he's going to let you go solo the rest of your time here. I definitely give the feeling that there is definitely this very wonderful relationship blossoming for you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Colby, I love speaking to you. Hopefully you'll come on my show and we'll talk about what's misunderstood about your profession. I think it's fascinating. And I think
that's wonderful. I'd love it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
So awesome. Okay. So like I said, you can find Rachel Uchitel at the Misunderstood Podcast on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Misunderstood with Rachel, and also find it on Apple and Spotify. And if you want to, give her a shout out, say hi, and that you saw her here. And thank you so much for opening up your heart to this process. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate you guys more than you know. So
thank you. And I really adore you for being so spot on today. That always makes my life easier. So I'm reading the comments. I'm like, okay, I hope nothing bad over there, except for the men are a little shooken up about the Bobbit situation. But sorry, guys, that threw you guys off. But so we're going to take a little break. I have a few sponsors to talk about before we bring in our next guest, who is a return victim of my show. She's going to get a psychic reading right after I talk a little bit more about how I know firsthand how overwhelming it can be trying to choose the right wellness products. I never took supplements before, and there are just so many options out there, and it feels like a full-time job just to research them at all. It's ridiculous. I mean, we all want safe, effective products, but how do you know what really works? That's where Holistic Goddess comes in. Oh yeah, they're the best. They've created a marketplace just for women, but some men can go there too, with products that are 100% natural. Whether you're looking for a metabolism support, quality skincare products, or help with digestive issues, they've done the hard work for you so you don't have to. I've spent a lot of time learning about health and wellness from my husband, Dr. Drew, so I've gotten pretty picky about what I put in my body. I didn't put anything in my body until I met them. I'm obsessed with their Meta Radiance. It supports metabolism, boosts energy without the jitters. Believe me, we need that as we get older and our metabolism slows down. Oh, and if you're looking for a stocking stuffer, Holistic Goddess features an amazing organic essential oil kit that is perfect for de-stressing with oils, like my favorite, lavender and eucalyptus, plus a guidebook to make the most of each drop. Great for your mind and soul. The fabulous organic castor oil roll-on is luxurious for skin and hair. Robin likes that. And the Well-Belly Digestive Aid makes every meal easier on my stomach. If you need something for deep restorative sleep, their Dreamies gummies are my go-to. Oh yeah, that works. Holistic Goddess, truly something for every woman at every stage of life. Go to drdrew.com/holistic for 15% off. Or if you end up on the website, holisticgoddess.com, just use code Susan15 for 15% off. No fooling. This is good stuff. And we really appreciate these sponsors. We know that these shows are free for you guys, but if you can just give a little something to your wife or girlfriend for the holidays, we can hope that you can get some Holistic Goddess. Also, we want to talk about the Wellness Company knows that you're taking charge of your family's health care as a top priority. For just $100 a month, you can get the One Wellness Elite membership, which includes 2 free medical grade supplements per month, free prescriptions for over 800 of the most common medications, access to concierge telemedicine available at a moment's notice, great on holidays and weekends, because I always find that you get sick on holidays and weekends, and 15% discount on all supplements, coveted emergency kits. If you're spending $100 or more on supplements and meds each month, this plan already saves you money. If you sign up for a year, you'll save $200. So it's quite a deal. Our health is so important. When you use the link, drdrew.com/TWC, you'll get 10% off the first payment to the One Wellness Elite membership. Check out One Wellness at drdrew.com/TWC and get 10% off your first payment. And don't forget to check out this industrial size wellness kit. It has everything you need in it. if Armageddon hits. So, we're always talking about the end of the world stuff. So we just want you to know that they have a new kit that has every antibiotic and product that you might need in an emergency. And then also we want to talk about our friends at Paleo Valley. I know you guys, you need to listen. This is how we keep the lights on at drdrew.tv. They have a new variety of the grass-fed and finished bone broth. It's fast becoming a favorite in the Pinsky household. Salted caramel. Oh yeah, it's yummy. I put in my coffee with a little bit of cream, and it's amazing. And the chocolate vanilla unflavored, also good, made from bones, not hides. It's an amazing source of collagen protein and low in calories, just 80 calories a scoop because it's sweetened from monk fruit. Drew and I use it, midday, guilt-free treat. Scooping some in your coffee or your smoothie. I don't know, this stuff's pretty awesome. I was thinking you could make like a hot toddy, or you could do like, what do they call it? If you do like a hot apple cider, you could put this in there and get your protein, stuff. Eggnog, you put in eggnog, give it a little boost of protein. So go to drdrew.com/Paleo Valley, get 15% off your first order, 20% off when you subscribe. We love this stuff, and so will you. I like the beef sticks too. I ate a couple today. See, look, it's empty. Great snack on the go. So anyways, thank you for sponsoring us. We really appreciate you guys. How's everybody doing over here on Rumble? Let's see. They're still there. We still have an audience. It's actually gotten up, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with me and Colby, and Colby's my gal. So we're going to take I'll take a caller who was with us last week. Her name is Alex, and we wanted to hook her up with Colby because I don't know. I think what she's looking for is right up Colby's alley. And she was so gracious to come on the show last week and kind of ran out of time. So, hi, Alex. Welcome back.
Look how beautiful you are.
Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me back.
So it's Alex, honey. Is that your name?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Colby.
You as well.
And excited. So would you like me to go more into a psychic direction for you? Things going on in your life coming up, or maybe connect? Yeah, that's it. That's where we stop.
Yeah, either way would be great. I'd love to hear from whoever wants to come through.
Let's start with romance first for you, if we could. Does that sound good to you?
Yes.
Okay, a little bit of frustration is what I was picking up on, Alex. So I feel like either the sense I was getting is you were coming out of a relationship. So I hope that's not bad news for you. But I feel like there's been some frustration around a romantic relationship, and we're needing to hit the reset button. Like we're needing to kind of go, okay, where's this going? What's happening? Like a little bit of that. Do you know what I mean? Because almost it's like, remember those old tape recorders and you'd hit pause? Do you remember those things? It's like you're hitting pause and you're like, okay, yeah, listen, I'm getting too old to do this, which you do not look old, but I just feel like your thought is like, either I've been here too long, I've been doing this too long, I've been giving you too many chances. Like, okay, like the point is I'm just going to give it to you straight. Are you sure you're open to everything?
Yes, of course.
Okay. This person, I feel like you've already overextended opportunities too. And I feel like you've already been way too understanding, empathic. And to be honest, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. They are hedging their bets. Like it's almost like they're going, is this right? Is this the best? Is this? And it's just kind of like, that's not who you want as your life partner. Like you want that person that is sweeping you up and getting you to the damn altar before anyone could realize you're not in the room anymore.
Right. That is what I want.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what you deserve. And that's what I see for you. And boy, I see you. I feel frustrated for you. I feel frustrated because I don't feel like this other relationship is the one I see you being in long term. So I'm really sorry because I just think that sucks. Like I think you did so much and, not enough though. You put your life on hold. You put your career on hold in some ways. All that energy was going towards them. Whereas I feel like if we just kind of turn that around back on you, I see you another romance coming in. Here's the deal. We've got one coming in. I don't think it's going to take too long at all. It feels very strong. It feels very magnetic. It feels very marriage oriented. So I actually believe you do want marriage. Would that be correct, Alex? Like marriage.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's children too, because I feel like you do want babies. Am I right?
I would love it.
You're going to have it. You just got to let go of this karmic thing you got going on with this person. So we just got to kind of you got to be strong. But the new one just feels really like this guy is going to treat you like the queen you deserve to be treated as. Like he feels very, there's a strong physical connection. So I think he's just right up your alley of your type. He feels athletic or strong to me, which is also very nice. But he also just feels like a caretaker. He feels like he wants to make sure you're happy, that you're okay. He really honestly feels very financially secure, Alex. I mean, that's kind of an interesting, he
that
just
would be very different for me. Big departure.
Well, I think too, this last guy, I mean, is like a feeling of a little bit of a poser. I think he might put out a facade, but he's not that facade. He's not that person. He just wants to look bigger, more successful than he is. And I think underneath it, he's not. So for you, they say behind every great man is a great woman, right? Or behind every successful man is a great woman. Well, okay, but you are pushing the rock uphill with this person. So I want you to go, wait a second. I can't sacrifice everything for you. I need to kind of be in my own power with this. And once you do, there's this guy, I mean, it is going to feel, the guy I see you with feels, like I said, very successful, very business oriented, very like he's made some strong business choices that turned out very well for him.
That's amazing.
All right. So what questions do you have?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you answered some of them for me because children are something that I'm kind of like, is this something I give up on, or do I keep, moving forward and hoping that the right person comes along and that happens for me. I would love to connect with anyone if there's somebody that you're seeing
on the other side.
Yeah,
for sure. But you understood everything about the past relationship and all that happening and going on. Does that resonate?
Yeah. I mean, so unfortunately I've had a string of, I think I've picked very poorly. But so I've had a string of those kinds of guys. And actually the last guy that I dated, I thought was quite the opposite of where I had been before. And I was really, really hopeful about it.
That's the facade guy, isn't it?
I'm wondering every day what part of it was true and what was the lie. So, so that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. So it's fine. We're just going to leave that in the past. Now, I am just curious, Alex, for you, would we happen to have a father on the other side for you, or a male on the other side that would have been like a father, or a strong male on the other side for you?
I have not my father, but I have grandparents.
Okay. Let's go in two directions here. So one, I'm just going to go into the male first, just really quickly, because I feel like there's a father figure that wants to come in for you. This father kind of energy that wants to come in and just be like, hey, you are worth more than this. Like, you've been raised more than this. Like, you are more than this. Why are you continually to settle in the situation? Like, so I need you to kind of know what you're worth. And I just feel like again, they kind of give me this idea that they care about you and they're protective over you and they're loving over you. But I definitely get the sense of, I don't want to say it that way. I want you to know that you're worth more. You're worth more than what what buffet you're settling for. Okay. Uh-huh. And then there's a woman on the other side that comes in very, very strongly next to this man, which is interesting. Okay. So we have this man who's very kind of hierarchy. So I see him as the hierarchy, the big point, but this woman comes in so close to you and she just comes in really like loving you, hugging you, very strong. I feel like maybe mother energy, but just this very strong telling you it's all going to be okay and to know that you are loved. And she gives me like a whispering in your ear feeling. Like I feel like there's a whispering in your ear. So would we understand a mother on the other side for you or a lady that would be like a mother for you, Alex?
Maybe my grandmother.
Would you understand that nurturing side of her or that connecting side? Just that really feeling of like, let me share a little secret with you. Like, this is our
Absolutely.
little secret. It's between us, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And a lady who feels spunky, like I think she would have been a spunky, fun lady. In a way, even though physically her body may not have held up to what she needed, I think spiritually, emotionally, she's young at heart. Like, so young at heart, but the body wasn't going to agree with her. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like there was a playfulness with her, a connectiveness with her. And I really get the sense of her just letting you know that she shows me a hummingbird for you and she very much watches over you. Okay. So to know that she sends you those signs. Do we understand anyone? I don't know why the word Corvette came in, but I don't think it needs to be a Corvette. Do you know someone with something about a sports car or a love of sports car or anything like that you can relate to?
Maybe even if they're the new guy.
Even if you're in not a guy with a Corvette for her. No.
Nah.
No, this might be someone in your past. They don't have to be deceased. They don't have to be in the spirit world, but there's something about a sports car, a Camaro or Corvette.
No.
He's got dark hair. He's got dark hair.
He's alive.
Something about what?
He's alive?
I can't tell if he's in the spirit world. He could be alive or in the spirit world, but they're showing me young, like you were young. And there's something about a sports car. Are you sure when you're not in high school, Alex? Go back for me. Go back. Let's go back. Rewind. I know. Let's rewind.
I am not.
It's okay. I don't want to make it fit if it doesn't. That's okay. What I'm seeing is...
that was for me.
Well, let me just tell you what he's like real quick. Just real quick. He just shows me a love of a sports car, but it's not a super high-end sports car. I think it's like a young guy's sports car. And he loves this sports car and he thinks he's so hot in it. And he just gives me the feeling of being around or being connected to you. So is that you, Susan?
Well, yeah, maybe. Is it from the 70s? Because I don't think she was alive in the 70s. Like nobody had Corvettes. Corvettes are like not cool. Like they were cool Camaros or.
That's what I'm saying though. It's not a cool. I'm saying that's why I said there's no one with a Corvette for her now because it's what we would have thought is cool, but it wasn't. It was just like a sports car of his time.
In the 70s, that was a cool car. You know, I mean, they are cool cars now. They're good Corvette. There's amazing Corvettes out now. If anybody has a Corvette out there, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but it's not like everybody has one. You don't. I have seen them, but
no. I'm definitely seeing older. I'm going back in time. That's why I asked her when she was little, when she was young, but not for you, Alex. It's more for Susan.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's probably for me. It's probably an old Porsche or something.
What questions do you have for me, honey? Is there anything you want to ask me or anyone you want to connect to that I just didn't bring through?
So I have had readings before where my grandfather on my father's side has come through and given me sort of what I should be looking for in a partner, you know, a profession wise or little things here and there, but it doesn't sound anything like what you're saying, to be honest.
Good.
So I'm like, okay,
Good.
maybe that was not right for me.
Yeah, because what we, you know, again, the way I work, when I'm saying who's coming in, I'm seeing who's there, who's coming in, what they look like, and usually it's pretty spot on. I don't believe, just the way I work in my connection to spirit, they're not telling us who our partner is. They're not telling us who they want to be there to say, I'm supporting you. But it's the same as in the living, right? Your grandfather in the living wouldn't sit down and say, hey, listen, I want you to go out and find a banker. I want that banker to have blue eyes. I want that banker to drive this car. You know,
Right.
I feel like they're there to support you. I feel like they try to hold you up when you're not feeling great, but they don't pick your life partner for you. I don't believe that. So
unless he's driving a Corvette. If the Corvette drives up, you got to know.
And I'll know.
Yeah, you gotta
What
know.
about?
But
sure
I want you, Alex, I would be very confident in saying who I'm feeling coming in is going to be the person you end up with. You just need to kind of, I feel like, let yourself know that you're deserving of that caliber of person coming forward, and not to kind of be in a place of settling or being empathic and compassionate to someone who tries to give you their story, especially with the excuses. Like, you know, you have a pattern of listening to guys with excuses. The minute they come in, like, just no, I'm not doing that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask if there's anything that I should be doing in particular to put myself in the place to meet the right person.
Well, one is the right mindset. I think the perfect place is starting with the right mindset of visualizing who that person is. And first and foremost, I think it's someone who needs to be trustworthy and honest for you, and really setting that as the most important part. And then just kind of saying, what do I see my life like, or what do I enjoy as a hobby for myself? And when you start doing those things, you're going to be in alignment with meeting a partner who has the same interests or has the same kind of moral compass that you do. And I think that that's going to be a great starting point. You just, it's too many, and this might not be the right word, but too many boy toys. Like, you have too many men who are just boys. And I feel like you got to kind of go, you know what? I want someone who can step up and show up. And that's when you bring it. That's really when it happens.
Interesting. So I think I figured out who the Corvette was. Was it red?
Who? Yes. Why? Who was
it? A red
Is there any other color?
It is red.
Prince. He's in the afterlife. He's coming to visit you. Little red Corvette.
Oh, the song. No, stop it. No, it's not Prince. I would know Prince if it was Prince. No.
I thought I knew who it was.
Robin.
I'm sorry.
I wonder if Robin does. Ask
Robin, do you know anybody with a Corvette?
Well, when you were
I
talking
said
about it,
you're making it a Corvette. When I said it could be a Corvette or a Camaro.
But it was red? The car was red that you saw in your vision?
It felt like it was red.
you know, it's, yeah, my brother-in-law's brother died driving fast. I don't know what the car is, but it was fast, like a sports car, and it killed him. So it could be related to that. I don't know all of the details, but yeah.
That's what it is.
So I just got the cold chills.
Robin always,
That's
her
what it
people
is.
always
Not
cock block the reading. Yeah, they pop in.
Unfortunately, I have a lot of spirit.
Yeah. She's got some strong.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So
that's okay.
yeah, he was very young when. Yeah, he was
that's
very young.
sad,
when he
though.
passed.
That's sad. I'm
what I
sorry
was
to hear
getting.
that.
So just know he's around, Robin, and he's okay.
I'll
Real quick,
tell my brother-in-law. So thank you.
I just one thing, honey, too. I just, you know, Yeah, I think that the big, if I could leave you with one gift, one just takeaway is you have such an ability to touch people in your life. You have such ability to really, really, really make a difference. And I want you to start really stepping outside of your fear with it. Really just going, you know what? I'm tired of playing it safe. It certainly isn't doing me any good here. Because
That makes sense.
there's such a beautiful connection you have, and you have a beautiful heart. And I really see that you're going to help people. I feel like you're going to make an impact. What do you do for work, sweetheart?
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
Well, I went to school to be a teacher, but I'm in sales, so I don't know.
Okay.
I hope I can help somebody somehow, but maybe not doing this job.
Yeah, the sales I don't think is your lifetime thing. That might be just what we are in now. I saw you as a speaker, so I didn't even write teaching down. Speaker. So I feel like it's going to be more about speaking, and maybe through that you're influencing, maybe through that you're helping. But
That's fantastic.
Excuse me?
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I think just for you, I want you got 2025 coming up. I really want you to just start making some radical changes. Okay.
Yeah.
I only want the month and day of your birthday, if that's okay. I don't want the year. What's the month and day?
February 23rd.
Okay. Hang on. Okay.
What you doing over there, Drew?
Okay. So every year when we have a birthday, so we have our life purpose on the year we're born, okay? But every year is our life lesson of that year, right? When I turn this age, what's my life lesson of this year? And in 2025, so 2025, it's really about becoming intuitively aligned, spiritually aligned. And so that's going to be your biggest lesson, to really trust your intuition, trust the things that come in. Like all these people that you spent time dating, it's like you already knew, and yet you were like, okay, let me be in. Okay. All right. Let me try. And I feel like it's now, I want you to really listen. And even with your job, I don't want to take you out of your job, but listen to where you're being called to. Listen to what it is, your interest, and start just trying to navigate
just a
that
side hustle. Get out there and speak. You could do a side hustle and get, talk about, I don't know what you're good at. Whatever. Yeah.
So I'll
she can inspire you.
Thank you. I love that.
We all need a little side hustle once in a while. Maybe you'll meet some fun people and a nice guy. You never know.
That would be great.
I know. Well, we wish you the best of luck. And
thank you so much.
I don't know if you want to give out your Instagram or anything, because if anybody's here is single, they might want to reach out. I don't know.
I'll give it to Robin.
Okay.
She can screen.
There's some single guys out here. Yeah. And thanks for doing this. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and being here and available for, you. I hope you have a great opportunity to meet a good guy and maybe have a big family. You never know.
Thank you so much.
I don't know.
I appreciate you having me back.
A lot of kids on anybody, but definitely.
I'll take one.
Maybe one. Okay.
Thank you both.
And once again, Colby, you've done it. Excuse me. Got a little frog in my throat. And anything coming up for you, Colby, that you want to mention, or
just
people can find you?
Let's see. Just anyone can go to my website, colbyrebel.com. We've got lots of classes. I have events coming up, online events. Very excited. I'm going to do a Australia, New Zealand tour, which is super exciting. That's very fun.
When's that? We have Australian fans.
Yeah, February and March.
Okay.
So got a lot going on there, but I can't wait. Next time I'll be in studio because I love being next to you. So, and I miss you. So
thank you.
I will be in studio next time.
But this worked out really well. You're still able to tap into energy with Zoom, which is just astounds me.
It's
like,
amazing.
how do they do that?
Because people think you have to be in person, and the only reason in person is fun because someone can maybe feel your physical energy, which is nice. But the way we connect, right? We're going beyond the vibration. So I don't need to touch you or feel you in order to connect to your loved ones, or to know kind of that future or that destiny.
Well, you were able to decipher. Oh, wait.
Real quick, I'll tell you. I love my baby stuff, and I love my family. So it's funny. Over the summer, I went to New Jersey, and I'm swimming in our little 4-foot pool of my family, and we're all so close. And I say, I forget who I said it to. My sister. She has one son, and he is married, and he has 2 kids. And I said to someone around me, either my cousin or my sister, I says, "Oh, my nephew's going to have another baby." And I just found out a couple weeks ago they were pregnant with their 3rd baby. Oh. So then I text my nephew and I said, "Do you know the gender yet?" And he says, "No, we think it's a girl." I says, "I'm almost positive it's a boy. Let me know when you find out." What do you think it is, Susan?
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
Oh, congratulations. Thank God. Yay! Thank God for boys. I love boys.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, good. I'm so glad. I was saying before, it's interesting how you had 2 people sitting on Zoom and you were able to decipher between their spirit. So it's like, I've done this show so many times, and sometimes like the spirits will bang around the room. Like you'll be reading one person, and my spirit will come through. That might have been one of my spirits. You never know. But if the person can't resonate with it, usually is somebody else's, like Robin's. But how you were able to separate and identify the tragic loss that Rachel had, and what she's gone through. Like it was. You didn't read Alex while Rachel was on the phone. Like, I don't know how you do that. It's just crazy.
And what was interesting with Rachel is, I think too, like what was really weird is I felt New York or 9/11 connection, right? But what's
I was hoping you were going to yell it out.
No, you know what though? I'm telling you, because why I didn't, like, it's good that I didn't. Because
you have to be careful.
Because I don't know why I didn't either. Normally I'll just give it. But he's like, "No, don't say it. It's not that don't say it." And the reason is because if she were skeptic, right? And now I'm saying, well, it happens to be 9/11. Like, I don't know. I don't know how much she would believe that. So the fact that we're just going, look, we know it's traumatic. We know this happened. I think that's all that was needed to kind of get him to her, get that message across.
Well, I just want to know from the fans if you guys think this is real or whatever. And also if you guys want to be on the show. I mean, I want to know, like, if you're a skeptic and you're like, "Oh, what is this?" If we haven't proven that Colby knows her shit. But if you want to be on the show and give it a whirl, since you're anonymous and not, in the news or whatever, give us a call or email us at callingout@drdrew.com, and we will give you an opportunity to have a reading with Colby, and she can blow your mind. So
amazing psychics.
Yes, or any of our other psychics if we're taking calls. But you just know that we are open to our audience to be on the show. Alex emailed me and I said, "Hey, let's get her on." So. But we brought her back again because we were testing out somebody else last week, and I wanted her to talk to dead people. So she was able to do that. But also because you're good at relationships and stuff like that. Did you see a baby?
Yeah, I did see a baby, but I didn't see a lot of kids. You said a lot of kids. I just saw a baby.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But anyways, some people love it. But anyways, we're going to let everybody go now. Thank you, Kaleb, for your high level of tech and production value for this and the Ask Dr. Drew show, which you can see at drdrew.tv. We usually Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And also, Robin, thank you once again for helping me produce the show and keeping the show afloat. So, and if you really like it, go to our sponsors. Definitely check out Holistic Goddess, drdrew.com/holistic, or, go to drdrew.com/sponsors. You can get the links to all the Dr. Drew approved products that we promote and hope that you'll buy so that we can keep bringing you more content. So, I will be back after the holiday. We're going to take a week off, but Ask Dr. Drew will be here for y'all to see, and we want to wish everybody from calling out a really happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you next time.
The Wellness Company knows that taking charge of your family's healthcare is a top priority, and that is why they are constantly innovating to deliver the products and services to help you be rationally ready for an emergency. They've added a medical kit for kids to treat over 20 childhood illnesses: nausea, vomiting, allergies, asthma, bioterror, God forbid, croup ear infections, lice, and more. And you can also order the kids kit with an EpiPen. Carefully sourced, great price. If there's a risk of anaphylaxis for your kids, you want that EpiPen. That can be in all kits, each customized for a different purpose. It comes, of course, with a telemedicine consultation and a guidebook, and you can replenish the meds up to 2 years after the date of purchase. So go to drdrew.com/2WC for 10% off any medical emergency kit or supplements. That is drdrew.com/TWC.